Yep. Oh man. So that was the most physically intense thing I think I've ever done. Marine Corps included.
No way.
Yeah, dude. I'm pretty wrecked. Like my feet are all torn up. I got a good look at myself in the mirror last night. I was all super scrawny with bruises and scratches and cuts all over me. Just oh my god. That track is brutal.
So not just a walk in the woods.
No. Not a walk in the woods, more like a death march in the woods. Absolutely fucking miserable.
So I know it doesn't look like it, but I'm actually in downtown Los Angeles right now. I'm going to LAX to leave for Tasmania in about a half an hour. And I'm going back to a place that I was inspired to visit when I was in that part of the world. I was just so intrigued. If when you look at a map of Australia, you see this little island down there south of Melbourne. So the plan is we're going to go there for 20 days. 7 days of that is going to be the South Coast Track, which is the most intense track that you can hike in Tasmania. I'm pretty excited. T-minus 30 minutes until I call an Uber to go to LAX and get on the longest plane flight of my entire life. So I'm in LAX right now, and I've got to say that I forgot just how alienating and strange just an international terminal of an airport is, with all the different languages being spoken and bizarrely all of the really posh shops for Rolexes and Dior, and it's quite weird. It feels like a portal to another dimension.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Brisbane Airport. Local time here in Brisbane is 15 minutes past 5 in the morning. Temperature on the ground at the moment 20 degrees Celsius, which is around 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well, the bus has just dropped me off as close as I'm going to get to the ferry in Melbourne. It's only about 3 miles. I could honestly use the exercise after sitting on a plane for 14 hours. I don't know why I didn't expect the city to be this big. It is not quaint. This is a real metropolis. There's about 4.5 million people here. It's Australia's second largest city, just behind Sydney. Unfortunately, I'm only going to see it for a few hours before I get on the ferry and get to Tasmania. Before I get on there, I'm hoping to get some food and maybe a massage, because my back doesn't feel so great after 16 hours on a plane. So the South Melbourne Market looks like exactly the right place for me to hang out while I'm waiting for the ferry. It's street food heaven around here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to settle on, but the smells are absolutely incredible. So it costs $40 more than just buying a seat to get a bed in a cabin that you share with 4 other people, which isn't my preference, but it was pretty expensive to do otherwise. And I got here maybe a little bit later, so the bottom 2 were taken. Can't see much, but it's 5:45 in the morning, and we're arriving in Devonport, Tasmania. So Devonport here is small, but this is the lifeline for freight people and vehicles into Tasmania. If you need to ship something to Tasmania, be it a person or a vehicle, you're going to ship it on this boat I just took here, the Spirit of Tasmania. And the other ship, the Sea Road Tamar over here, is a very small little couple hundred TEU container ship. Oh, we just rented ourselves a RAV4 here. And I'm gonna see if I can manage to not kill myself driving on the wrong side of the road. too bad. Got this nice room here to check out the ship, Spirit of Tasmania. It's right over there. We're headed to Cradle Mountain tomorrow. So just left the Airbnb, got a nice day of rest yesterday, and today I feel like getting on with it. So we're going to Cradle Mountain, the jewel of the overland track, the highlight of central Tasmania. Not going to climb the entire thing, but we're at least going to go on a hike and take a good look at it. Going to Cradle Mountain today is going to give me the opportunity to see one of the most famous landmarks in all of Tasmania, as well as test out my gear, do some camping, see if my clothes are going to be good enough, if I need to change anything about my setup before I go into the backcountry.
Another one gone, another store.
I've just been told that in spite of what I thought, there's no car camping here. So I'm having a beer and a pie, looking at a map, and figuring out if I feel like walking for 4 hours into the wilderness.
You're going to walk and start from there, but it's super short, very easy to do. They do take you to very pretty waterfalls along.
Another one gone.
Plans to hike from here to the Scott Kilbert Hut and around to the overland track. So the shuttle bus for the start of this walk just casually drops you off at Dove Lake, right in front of Cradle Mountain. Absolutely unreal. Now, I wasn't planning on hiking in today. I thought that it's a national park and there would be a place to park my car and I'd just do a little car camping to get my feet wet. But no, it turns out I have to hike in to have somewhere to camp with my tent if I don't want to stay at a cheesy holiday park. But I've got to say that I am just absolutely ecstatic to finally be out here doing what it is that I came to do, which is get in Tasmanian nature and do some backpacking. And just, would you look at the views here at Cradle Mountain. Now the thing about not knowing that I was going to hike in today, I had all my gear with me, but unfortunately I'm getting a late start. I have 3 hours of daylight left and about 4 hours of hiking to do, so it's time to haul ass. Fiddle. I literally have to pull myself up along this chain here. I think there's no other way to do it. Holy crap. Today, we're gonna bag our first peak 3 days into the trip. Oh, I made it to Hanson's Peak, the first and only mountain peak between me and dinner. We're still racing the sun. And let me just give you 360 here. This is pretty cool. There's Cradle Mountain. A bunch of other lakes down there. And somewhere that way and down is where the camp is for the night. So no time to waste. Now, there are impressive landscapes to be had where I come from in California, no doubt. The Sierra Nevadas, Yosemite, they're all absolutely amazing. But what I loved about coming to New Zealand and now again in Tasmania is just how oddly alien everything is. Little details. All these rocks are like hexagonal columns. So the whole thing has this really geometric, otherworldly quality to it. The scale and verticality of this wall, now that I'm up close to it, is just astonishing.
Diamonds, lilacs, kiss me one more time. I'm healing, baby, can't you see that
You'd be forgiven for thinking that the water is dirty and it's brown, actually from tannins, the same thing that makes tea brown. Something about the minerals in the rock, and that's why it looks like brewed tea. But it's perfectly safe to drink. I've arrived at the hut. That woman telling me that I had 4 hours to hike in here and only 3 hours of daylight, I guess, lit a fire under my ass, and it only took 2 hours to get here. So that's nice. Pitching a tent tonight just to test out some of my gear because the South Coast track doesn't have huts. But in Australia and New Zealand, just about everywhere you go, they have this hut system, which I was initially like put off by because we don't have that in America. But once you get into it, it's great. You don't have to bring a tent with you. If you like company, there's other people, it's warmer, you can have a fire going on, it's awesome. So I'm gonna go set up a tent, but let's go ahead and check out what the digs are. So everybody just sets up their sleeping pads on here. Yeah, right.
We should.
The mattress, I probably could. It's pretty big. Where are you guys from?
We're from France. From here.
I'm a local.
When I'm gone, will you pray for me?